Welcome to our first tutorial on our training series Foundation of Cybersecurity. So today we are going to go through how we can install the environment and get ready for other trainings. So the requirements, you need to have a laptop or a PC. Then your laptop needs to have at least 8 GB RAM or minimum 4 GB RAM. 100 plus GB hard disk, can be HDD, can be SSD. Then Intel processor or AMD, and then virtualization needs to be enabled in the system. If virtualization is not enabled, you have to go log into your BIOS and enable virtualization. Then have a stable internet so that you can download softwares. The software you need are the Kali Linux ISO image, which you are going to download it from the official Kali Linux website. You need a VM machine. Then the one I'm using today is going to be VirtualBox. We can also use VMware workstation player. It's also free. It's basically the same thing. So this is a step-by-step guide on how we can install the softwares and then get ready for other classes. So firstly, we need to install the virtualization software, that is the VM, and that will be using VirtualBox as I said earlier, but you can also use VMware workstation player. So you go into the official VirtualBox website, or you go to your Chrome. You can just type in VirtualBox. Yeah. See, this is the official VirtualBox website, www.virtualbox.org. This link will be dropped as at the end of the video for you. Then you go to the website. Really, you go into the website. I don't know what is wrong with my internet today. Just give it some moment. Okay, you will see a download button. Then all you need to do is just to download. Click on the download button, and then the download will start automatically. So I don't need to download the software again. Depending on your operating system, Windows, Mac OS, if those people that are using Apple systems, then Linux and the rest of it, they have some couple of software for each system. So you just download the one that it's okay with your own. If you're using Windows, you go with your Windows host and the rest of it. I don't have to download it again because I've already have it in my system already. So it's as simple as that. So after downloading the VirtualBox, we will download the Kali Linux iOS image file so that we can install it in our VirtualBox. So all you need to do is just to same thing with going into your Chrome, and then you type your Kali Linux. Then you go to the official website for Kali Linux, and it is www.kalilinux.org. Then you double click on it to take you to the site, and you're going to download the ISO image. So you click on this download button here on their site. It will give you installer image, virtual machine, and ARM, the mobile for people that are using mobile phone, the cloud for people that are using cloud systems, containers, and the rest of it. But we are going with the ISO file as I said earlier, so it's going to be an image. So this one is recommended. You double click on it, then it will take you to where you can download. Please go with this installer. You just have to click on this, and then your download will start. These other ones, leave it the way they are, and then go for the installer. Okay, so the download has started, but I'm not going to download it because I already have it in my system. It's around 4.1 gig, and so you should have a minimum of 6 gig data on your system before you start downloading, before it stops halfway. So after downloading the two software, you go to your download folder. You will see we have the VirtualBox is here. I downloaded it, and then my Kali Linux ISO image file is here. So those two software should be in your system. So after downloading those two software, you're going to install your virtual machine. You're going to install your virtual machine. Before then, you need to check your system if virtualization is enabled. And to check your system if virtualization is enabled, all you need to do is to go to your taskbar, and these are your processes. You go to your performance. When you go to your performance, the CPU, when you from your CPU menu now, you see virtualization should be enabled. If it is disabled, please, you need to go to your BIOS and enable it so that your system can handle virtualization. So after that, you have checked and your system is able to handle virtualization, or virtualization is enabled in your system. You go to the file you download, the VirtualBox file you download earlier. For me, where is the VirtualBox? Okay, here we have it, 7.1.10. This is the VirtualBox. Then you double click on it. Then all you need to do is to click next. Because I've already installed VirtualBox on my system, it's giving this, telling me to either repair or remove the old one I installed earlier. So I will not remove or repair any one. So at this point, I will just cancel it. But you just look at the process. It's very simple. You just next, and at the end of the day, the VirtualBox will be installed and you are good to go. So after you have installed the VirtualBox, yes, we are going to cancel the process. So we have finished. You search for the VirtualBox. Okay, we have it here, VirtualBox. Then we open the application, VirtualBox application. Wait for some moment for it to load. I don't know what is wrong with my machine today. Okay, so this is the one I'm using, the Kali Linux I'm using presently now for all my courses and for all my cybersecurity jobs. But for you as a new person in the industry, or you are installing a new Kali Linux, this place will be empty. It's not going to come with this. You won't see your Kali Linux VM instance. You won't see it here. So you come to new. You are creating a new instance. You give it a name, Kali Linux. Oh, please. Sorry about that. Let's remove it. Delete all files. So your new button, as I said earlier. Then give it Kali Linux. I'm going to give it Kali Linux 2 because I already have Kali Linux 1 over here. So we just give it Kali Linux 2. Then the folder, this is where the Kali Linux VM instance is going to be installed. You don't even need to change it. You allow it to be there. Then at the ISO image, the one you downloaded earlier, that is the Kali Linux ISO image. So you need to just go to your download folder, look for the image. This is it, Kali Linux 2015. You click on it and then you open it. Then you assign some hardware resources to this VM instance, because I told you earlier you need to have a minimum of 8 GB RAM or minimum of 4 GB RAM. 8 GB RAM could be better, 16 GB better. If you have up to 32 GB, you're a pro. So you are going to allocate the VM instance some resources from your system. So your host system, if it is Windows, is going to share some resources with this VM once it starts, because Kali Linux is an operating system by itself. It's used in cybersecurity for most of the cybersecurity tasks. Why? Because most of the tools are already pre-installed in Kali Linux. Unlike Windows, that you need to install those tools you need to use, but those tools are already there, so you don't need to go about installing them again. Just go to your machine and put it to work. Then so we are going to allocate some of the things here, hardware resources. You can give it a 4 GB RAM. You know me, I have 16 GB RAM on my system right now, so I can just stretch it to like 4 GB RAM. 4 GB RAM. So you can see we have red color here. This is where you cannot go beyond. So where you have your green, depending on your system resources, where you have your green is where you can shift and adjust your things to go. But you cannot go beyond where you have your green. You cannot go to where you have this red line, please. Then CPU, assign some CPUs. On my system we have 8 CPU, so I can just decide to assign two 2 CPU core, or let me just say 3. You can just start to have 3. I don't want to be stingy with my CPU. Let's give it 3 CPUs. Then hard disks. From your hard disk, I think you need to have a minimum of 100 gig plus hard disk. So it's taking 25 gig from your hard disk. If you have more space, up to even 2 terabytes and the rest of it, you can even take it up to 50. If you have more space, you can even take it up to 100, depending on how you want your VM, the space you want your VM to occupy. So you can just take it to 50 and the rest. So after that, you finish, and then you are going to start the machine. So after you have allocated the resources, put in all those details, the path to ISO, you have specified it. Then look at where I'm. Okay, this is where I am. This Kali Linux machine 2. Then I will start it. I will not go back to add again. I will just start the machine. So you give it some time. It's going to give you a prompt that is powering up the VM. So the VM is coming up. You just have to give it some time. I don't know, for some reasons. Okay. So let's just wait for some minutes. It's coming up. So wait for it. So I would advise you take the graphical installation, so that it will give you a GUI interface for you to understand what is going on throughout the installation process. So your language, I think you should choose English, except you know how to speak French and the rest of it. So for me, I'll go with English. Your country, Nigeria for me. If United States or any other one, you can just choose and continue. Then for keyboard configuration, I would advise you go with American English, but that is the standard keyboard configuration. And you wait for it to scan, and then save your configurations and give you more options. Okay. For some time. Okay, so this takes in a halfway configuration. Is trying to do a lot of processes behind the scene. Just have to give it time. So here the host, I'm going to use my Fixed Lab. I'm working for Fixed Lab technology, so you have to use Fixed Lab. You can use anything of your choice. Then the domain, I can decide to use fixedlab.com. That's my domain. If you don't have a domain, you can decide to leave it, but you can just put in anything you want. Your name.local or your name. Anything you just want, depending on your domain. Continue. Then full name. My full name is Daniel Oyu. Full name of your computer, please. You can put anything, depending on user, this user, and the rest. Okay, so this is the name that is in for my account. I'll go with the Daniel. So the password, just choose your password wisely so that you can remember. Don't choose a password that you'll not be able to remember when you are logging in after the installation. Choose the password wisely and then continue. So after that, it will go through a series of installation, through a series of processes, but from here, I don't think it's gonna be hard again for you to navigate your way through. Let's just wait and see for some moments so that you can just finish up things at once. Though we are not going to run this process to the end, but at least the level I'm going to leave you with, it's a level that you can go from there. You're not going to do anything again. Just wait for the installation to complete and then your system boots up. So let's give it some time as well. Please, yeah, installing it for the first time, use the entire disk. Use the entire disk. That's the entire disk you allocated for this VM. If you allocated 50 gig, if you allocated 25 gig, that is going to use the entire disk. So I advise you use the entire disk. It has detected and the hard disk. So all files should be in one partition place. Unless you have your reasons for you want to separate your partition, but for me, I always go with all my files being in one partition. So I continue with that. Then it's just going to give me what it's going to do. The primary space is going to be 59.2 gig, while the logical space is going to be 32.2 gig. I'm okay with that, so I'm going to write the changes. Yes, I'm going to write the changes. Don't choose no, choose yes, you want to write the changes because you're installing it for the first time. So everything should be formatted and then everything should go. So from here now, I'm going to leave it from here because we can't go through all the processes. It's a long process. For me, it's going to start installing and everything is going to run behind the scene. You just have to wait. And then when the installation is complete, you start up your VM. So I think we have done justice to most of the things. We created a new virtual machine. Yes, okay. It says you allocate 2 gig to 4 gig RAM from here for better performance. Can set up your network mode. This network mode is set in the VM so that it can also share from the network of the host computer. So just go to your settings, network in NT80 or bridge adapter or host only adapter for. So depending on what you want, if you want the network to share the same internet with the host, you need to use NTA. So let's just try something. Okay, let's try something with this one that we have already installed. Settings. You can see my network here. I'm using NTA. So it depends on what you want. If you want standalone, or like only the host should have its own like adapter, that one should have, I think it should have a standard Ethernet or external devices as well. But NTA is the best. NTA is the best so that to share with the network of the host and it will have internet connection. So that is it for that. So after the installation is completed, I'm going to shut this down. When installation is completed, power it off, shut it down. You see a VM instance like this. If you see a VM instance like this, Kali Linux, you don't need to add, you don't need to go to new, you don't need to set anything up again. All you need to do is to start the machine. You start the Kali Linux machine, that is the VM instance. You just have to start it. You wait for it to power up again. As usual, wait for some moments. Okay, it's coming up. Our Kali Linux system is coming up. So I do not have the time to wait for you. Then we just continue. You give it some time. Okay, so the username you used while doing the installation, you just have to put it in. For mine, I use Daniel Hackbox. That's what I use. It's Daniel Hackbox. Then the password, I'll put the password I use. That's why I say you should use the password that you remember. Then we log in. So welcome, you are a professional hacker. My bad, please. This is a Kali Linux machine. I can basically use it for anything you want to use it for software developers. And they also use Kali Linux maybe for most of their operating systems to check how their software will work on servers. So it's not only hackers that use Kali Linux. A lot of so I tech gurus, they use Kali Linux. So you can open your command prompt. You can see I list my files or my folders. I have my desktop and documents and the rest of it. list of the software that are there. You can see why I say Linux is the best for cybersecurity and ethical hackers, because you just have to information gathering software. Look at them, Mmap, Recon, and the rest of it, Zinap, and the rest. Vulnerability analysis software where you need to use to check the vulnerability in a web server or in a system. Then web application analysis software, data based assessments, password attack, wireless attack, reverse engineering, exploitation tools, sniffing and spoofing tool, post exploitation, forensics, reporting tools, social engineering. You don't need to even install software, though advanced topics you are going to take, you need to install other software. But for now, the basic software that are here, they are okay for you to get you started. So thank you so much for watching this video to this moment, and I'll be hoping to see you in our future courses. Thank you.